Alright, so FNCS Season 7 Grand Finals is coming up, and I want to give my predictions for this trio FNCS Finals across all 7 regions. If you guys are interested in seeing that, this video is definitely the one for you. Really quickly, remember that for every 1 supporter on code Sonata YT, 100 V-Bucks will be added to the 10k sub giveaway prize. Alright, let's hop into it. So in terms of the order that I go in for each region, I'm basically going to go from the biggest region to the smallest region. And obviously that means that I'm going to be starting off with the region of EU. Now across the region of Europe, there are many trios that I would potentially consider to be the champions of this season's FNCS. But no other trio wows me more than the trio of Hen, HyperX, and Janus. Now if you guys have been around my channel for quite some time, you know that last season I predicted this trio to win. And a bunch of you guys came after me in the comments because they were contested. After the first day of FNCS, Hen, HyperX, and Janus were in first place, and I started to feel really good about my prediction. However, on the second day of FNCS, the trio that was landing on them still tried to grief them, and they lost all chances of getting to top 3. However, this season they are back at it uncontested, and I think they have a seriously good chance of competing for the first place spot. Hen, HyperX, and Janus are 7 times Trio Cash Cup champions. They even won one of those Cash Cups on the NA East region, playing on over 100 ping. And of all time, they are one of the best and most consistent trios ever, which is why I think that they're going to be placing first in this FNCS finals on EU. Now in terms of who I think is going to place second on EU, I think Benji, Fishy, Joe, and Shadow are going to be placing second. Obviously this trio has just as good of a chance to place first, but the reason that I think that Benji, Joe, and Shadow aren't going to place as good as Hen, HyperX, and Janus is because they're a bit of a newer trio. In terms of their placements, they qualified for the Grand Finals during week 1 when they won the finals of that week, and they have been extremely consistent across all of the Trio Cash Cups on both Europe and NA East. This trio is obviously going to be a fan favorite having Benji, Fishy on there, and I look forward to seeing what they can do during these FNCS finals. And now the third place and final trio that I think is going to place top 3 during this European Grand Finals is going to be Tayson, Vino, and Reason. Now my reasoning behind this trio placing third is actually supported by a lot of evidence. Now Tayson, Vino, and Reason qualified to Grand Finals through the week 3 qualifier finals, and they placed second place in this. And then in the previous weeks they also placed top 5 in both. They have been extremely consistent across all of the Trio Cash Cups all season. They even won a Cash Cup extra. And honestly, having Tayson, Vino, and Reason on one trio is just insane. Tayson being the 3 times FNCS champion, Vino having placed second in solo FNCS All-Stars, and Reason being the 14 times tournament winner, this trio is absolutely stacked in terms of IGLing and fighting potential. And that's why I think they're going to be placing a very high placement in the top 3. Now moving on to my home region of NA East, I think you guys are going to know what I'm going to pick for this first place. My favorite trio that I've been hyping up even since before they won their first FNCS, and the trio that I think is going to be placing first place this season, is going to be Day, Miro, and Reverse. Now some people can be a bit skeptical about this choice because they did actually end up splitting at the start of the tournament for a short time. However, Day, Miro, and Reverse have insane placements as a trio together. They have won 2 FNCSs together. The first one that they won was in Chapter 2 Season 4, and then the second FNCS they won was last season in Chapter 2 Season 6. And over their time playing together, they have very consistent Trio Cash Cup placements, and each player is absolutely crazy. Miro is a 2 times DreamHack champion along with his 2 times FNCS champions, and Reverse 2K is an absolute demon that has been popping off since the summer skirmish days. Obviously, Day is also a DreamHack champion, and I think that together this trio is going to absolutely pop off in the NA East Grand Finals. Not to mention that this trio has also won a Trio Cash Cup before. Now getting back into it, I think that the second place team on NA East is going to be Saf, Stretch, and Kanata. This trio absolutely popped off in the first qualifying week of this season. Saf and Stretch came 3rd place in the last FNCS Grand Finals with their teammate Avery, but they dropped Avery for an even better teammate Kanata. Kanata is an absolute demon when it comes to box fighting and trying to get refreshes, and he is known as one of the best fraggers across the entire region. This trio is extremely consistent in Trio Cash Cups, and I believe that together they're going to place a very high placement in the top 2 range. And then the final trio for NA East that I think is going to place in the top 3 is going to be Acorn, Jack, and Slacks. Now Acorn, Jack, and Slacks are no strangers to success. They are the Season 15 FNCS champions, and they have some of the most consistent placements in Cash Cups and other game modes. They have definitely won many Trio Cash Cups before, and have popped off in Cash Cup Extras and various other tournaments. Each one of these players is extremely good when it comes to other game modes as well. Acorn is a very good solo player, and Slacks absolutely pops off in duos with Illust. And not to mention Jack's insane 2020 success. He happened to be the player who earned the most PR over all of 2020, which is why I think that this trio is going to take home the top 3 placement in NA East FNCS Grand Finals. Now moving on to the region of NA West, this pick should not be a surprise to anybody. I think that Arkham, Rex, and Epic Whale are going to come in first place. Honestly, at this point, you can't even argue with this pick. Whenever you watch NA West, you don't really ask yourself the question, who do you think is going to win? You always ask yourself the question, how much do you think Arkham, Rex, and Epic Whale are going to win by? And I know that seems kind of funny, but honestly, it's the most true fact about that region. Together as a trio, Arkham, Rex, and Epic Whale are 3 times FNCS Grand Champions, and they have some of the most consistent trio cash cup placements, winning over 3 of them. These players are absolute monsters, not just on NA West, but across the world. Epic Whale and Arkham obviously had their insane World Cup placements back in the day, and they are all crazy players still. And that's the main reason that I think that all of these players are going to win the FNCS Grand Finals on NA West. However, in terms of second place on NA West, I think that Favs, Kenshi, and Snacky are going to 100% come close to the second spot place. This trio was second place in the last FNCS Grand Finals, and they are some of the most consistent Cash Cup players, and Favs has even won an NA US DreamHack. This trio does not mess up when it comes to NA West placements, and can only really be topped by the first place team Arkham, Rex, and Epic Whale. And overall, that's what I think is going to be happening for the NA West region. Now moving on to the next most populated region of Brazil, I think that Ed, Persa, and Siyun are going to be taking this FNCS champion home. As you guys know, Siyun did play with King and Kadu last season, but he has split with them and now he's playing with 2 players that go by the name of Ed and Persa. All of these trio members are crazy and they're very, very consistent. And Siyun also won the last FNCS championship. These guys are crazy consistent and they have been popping off in all of the trio cash cups across Brazil. I would definitely recommend that you guys keep an eye out for this trio as you're watching the Grand Finals for the region of Brazil. Now the next region is going to be a bit of an interesting story. I'm going to be covering Asia. Asia is a region that actually looks quite overlooked a lot, simply because of its not very large player base, but I personally believe that Maufin, WHawk, and Rimmer are going to 100% win the Grand Finals. Every single one of these trio members is absolutely insane, and Maufin has been a reigning Asian champion for so long. To be honest with you, every member of this trio is an absolute demon when it comes to competitive. They have amazing cash cup placements, always placing inside of the top 50, which isn't actually that easy to do, and that's who I think is going to be taking out the championship on the region of Asia. Now moving on to the second least populated region of the Middle East, I think that Demon, RV, and FHD are going to be taking this FNCS championship home. RV is a very well-known Middle Eastern player and he's extremely consistent in all game modes in all seasons. He popped off with his trio last year, and now I believe that he's going to pop off with his new trio this year. RV is absolutely crazy and so are FHD and Demon. These guys are no strangers to first places in tournaments, and they have popped off in all of the trio cash cups and various other third-party tournaments in the Middle East. I would definitely keep an eye out for this trio as you guys are watching the Middle East Grand Finals. Now the final region that I'm going to be going over is known as OCE. Now even though this is the least populated region, it's a one that a lot of NA East players know about. I think that the team that's going to win FNCS champions here is going to be Jinx, Alec, and Worthy. Now obviously if this was last season, I would have said Muzz, Speedy, and Looter were going to win. However, that trio is now on the region of NA East. As you guys know, they moved, and now Jinx, Alec, and Worthy have come back to claim their title. If you guys don't remember, Jinx, Alec, and Worthy are the champions from Chapter 2 Season 4, and they're one of the most consistent OCE trios of all time. Not to mention that Jinx is a 3 times FNCS champion on the region, and Worthy and Alec are some of the most consistent players not only in OCE, but in the entire world. And that's why I think that Jinx, Alec, and Worthy are going to be taking the FNCS win on OCE. And that's it for my predictions. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel down below. Be sure to check out all of my socials in the description, and don't forget to use code SonataYT if you guys want to add 100 V-Bucks to the 10k sub giveaway prize. But that's about it for this video, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.